Welcome back to the channel. In today's episode, I'll introduce you to the biggest secret of whales. It's not resonance. I would also like to mention that after my analysis, more people started making videos with similar calculations, which I consider a good thing. The bad thing is that unfortunately many of them have no idea what they are talking about, and what's even worse is that people blindly believe what they say without checking if it's true. I don't know if this is due to a lack of basic knowledge, not understanding the game, or intentional misinformation. I don't know, and I don't want to judge. This channel has always had one goal: to make the game easier for people to understand. So if you ever wondered about the secret of the bonus values of this game, then click subscribe button, because a lot of things will become clear after watching this video. As resonance is still a mystical value to many people, I must begin by clarifying this once and forever. To prove this, I have prepared a quick test. We will check how the value of our damage changes with greater resonance. So what are your predictions? Based on the description, my base gear attributes should be increased by 16% now. Let's check damage. I am very curious how many of you already know the answer. As you can see, the damage is exactly the same. But why? Because this is the base attribute of the item, and as you can see, I'm only wearing items that increase my HP, so resonance will only increase your bonus damage and health from items. This value is exactly the same for everyone for each difficulty level. If all your items are from Hell 7, then your basic item bonus is on screen. Knowing these values, we can calculate exactly how much 1 point of resonance gives us. Assuming it's only part of your total damage value, unless we're talking about the two extremes, then the values don't seem that big. Certainly not so big that they give such a big advantage in PvP. Gems bonus is also cut to 30%. So what really matters so much? Many people forget about the usual gems and jewelry and keys from IBEN, FAHD'S, SANCTRUM, and this is the true advantage of whales. And even if you systematically collect keys every day and focus mainly on damage and HP, then the bonus from your sanctuary is negligible. Considering the total of all your stats, armor penetration, armor potency, and resistance will be the most noticeable here, so never leave those stats behind, and your performance on PvP will greatly improve. Exactly the same situation with gems. If from the beginning some authorities told you how important tourmalines are and so far you only invest in them, then I would like to introduce some gems of one of the whales. Pay attention to the bonus value in proportion to your total. I think it needs no comment that investing in tourmalines is the worst investment you can make. Of course, as a free-to-play player who will not have gems at such a high rank yet, but at lower ranks it looks exactly the same. So it's funny how whales with a huge amount of armor recommend you armor penetration and damage, making you nothing more than a one-hit target. So let's compare my bonuses in one of the whale so you can analyze them. Remember that no matter how skilled you are, these numbers always fight first and your every move is calculated based on them. Pay attention to the amount of armor he has. This stat stands against my armor penetration. The interesting thing is that no matter how big the difference in these stats is, a critical hit always deals double damage. So as long as the armor penetration isn't greater than the opponent's armor, then it's just wasted potential. You need at least 3,106 armor penetration to deal extra damage on a critical hit. So as long as you're not playing a character with extremely high crit chance, investing in armor will always be a better use of your resources. As you can see from this example, this player is smart enough to know that investing in armor will prevent him from taking too much damage, and at the same time he knows that 2,000 armor penetration is enough to deal almost triple damage from crits. Because people in general don't invest in armor. Huge mistake. For potency and resistance, it's the same. Your potency stays against your opponent's resistance value. In this case, the difference is so huge that even if you and him use the same CC at the same time, and this CC will normally last 1 second. For him it will be half a second, and for you it will be over a second and a half. So again, unless you're playing a character that uses a lot of harmful effects, it will be much more beneficial to invest in resistance first. So the extra damage and life from resonance are just an addition to the true advantage of the whales. The optimistic fact is that this advantage is multiplying every day, because even as a free-to-play player, you have a lot of opportunities to get gems and keys, and their max level is limited. I also believe that collecting regular gems and keys should be your daily priority. It's still a marathon, but very profitable. Bonus to damage and HP is much more profitable with Paragon points. But keep in mind that if you are going to play PvP, it might be worth reducing the damage a bit and invest in HP, armor, and resistance, especially if you haven't accumulated enough stats from gems and Sanctum yet. In PvP, no one cares about your damage if you don't stay alive long enough to deal it. That's why I can't agree with the theory that assumes that the game doesn't give you the opportunity to increase survivability. There is still a lot of potential in defensive stats. Just not many people use them due to other player versus environment builds where damage works perfectly. But PvE is not PvP, so beyond your skills, you have to plan your stats well to be successful. So in my humble opinion, you need to make sure that the stats like armor penetration and potency are right for you, and if you can get any benefit from them. Or maybe a better solution is to increase your armor and resistance, since you get benefits from this bonus in any situation, or even safe, although not necessarily the best solution. Stay in the golden middle and try to develop everything evenly, and definitely don't leave any stats behind. I know it's still not enough to beat a stronger player, but you should definitely try to make it harder for him to beat you. Meanwhile, maybe your teammates will finish the job. I hope that all this is understandable for you, and you will be able to apply it to your needs. Feel free to write what you think about it in the comments. And remember, For you, it's just a few minutes of video. For me, it's many hours of work to bring you valuable content. So don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to stay updated. Also, huge thanks to everyone who decided to support my channel. I appreciate it. Check out my other videos. And as always, thanks for watching.